Yeah, we don't get a whole lot of wind in San Diego, so when we do, we got to get out. If it's a hurricane, whatever. Great day for it. We love it, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, man, it's a lot of wind. I mean, but I actually have an even smaller kite for bigger days, so. Right now, it's kind of like it's just been a good time. We've had a really great window where the wind's high. Usually in San Diego, we get like, maybe 12, 15 knots. Now we got up to 20, which is really great. We've got a great crew of kiteboarders here, and the last couple hours have just been a lot of fun. I mean, we know what the wind forecast is. Obviously, the hurricane's coming in later. Everybody's kind of watching that, making sure we're not doing something dangerous. So, yeah, I mean, it's been really steady. It hasn't been like too gusty or anything, which is when it can get a little dangerous. Yeah, I mean, this is what we love. This is what we look for.
Oh, it's fun, man. The wind's blowing, it's not that cold, it's pretty warm. A little bit of rain, you get the rain in the face, but it's a good time. About 20 minutes before I came out, my mom goes, "How's you surviving the storm?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, just a little rain, we're good." But I didn't tell her I was kiting, but I'll let her know that we had a good time. We got a good community. Everyone's keeping an eye out each other, and we're keeping an eye on the wind, so we're good.
Well, the weather's still warm, right?
It's still nice. Come on, you gotta get out.
Just a little bit of rain, a little bit of puddles.
And from here on, you go to happy hour. Anything? Big time snowstorms, hurricanes, whatever they call tropical storm. I mean, what they call tropical storms. Yeah, this is child's play.
To us, it is.
Yeah, to us it is. Anyway. But yeah, but as long as no one gets hurt, that's all that matters.
I already know some of the basics. Like, they're already taught me how to fly the kite.
These are unprecedented weather conditions, and I find myself saying that quite often, that we have these unprecedented weather conditions. But it has provided really critical input for our readiness plan. I think the two weather elements that we're most concerned about with this event are certainly the rain and the wind. And the wind too often causes trees and other types of objects and debris to fall into our power lines and become airborne. And I think the rain can saturate grounds and cause the trees to topple. And it's also causing cars to veer off and run into our infrastructure. We've already had some cars run into our infrastructure and cause power outages this morning. Additionally, these heavy rain is going to cause flooding, and it has the potential for customer impacts and can impact our capability to respond to these outages. So as we do for these events, SDG&E has been preparing. We have our Emergency Operations Center activated, and we've strategically positioned our field crews to be able to respond, and we've been able to do so to date. We've secured extra crews, extra equipment, and we're ready. We're ready and we're bracing for the brunt of the storm. But I want to be really transparent to our customers and tell you that we're going to quickly and restore power, but it's really going to be dependent on the weather impacts. All the flooding can cause us to not be able to get in and have access to some of these areas. And some of these wind conditions, we may not be able to get our line people up in our bucket trucks because the winds may cause us not to be able to do that. So I really want to make sure that our customers are prepared for prolonged outages. We're hoping we can get to everything and get all customers back on very quickly, but I just want to make sure that the customers are prepared. So I'm going to ask for everyone's patience and understanding as power restoration may take longer than normal. And with storms, overhead power lines can be caused to drop and fall. So I want to make sure that every customer knows that if a power line is on the ground, do not touch it. Assume that it's got electricity still flowing through it and call 911. Also, if customers are smelling gas, call 911. And, the brunt of the storm is coming, so we are prepared for it, and we have sent direct communications to our customers. Call 911 or call into our call center if you have any questions.
Rainfall, as we've talked about the last couple of days, is going to be the biggest hazard for this storm. It's what we're most concerned about. You can see rainfall increasing this morning across the Los Angeles basin out into the deserts of southeastern California. You can see some heavier rainfall here down near the center of Hilary that's starting to move northward out of Baja California to the north, and will be moving into Southern California over the next 18 to 24 hours. We continue to be very concerned about the potential for life-threatening flash flooding, potentially catastrophic impacts, especially here in this purple area you see where we have a high risk of flash flooding. That's in the areas of the deserts and the mountains of Southern California. We'll zoom in there a little more in a minute and talk specifics. We have a moderate risk of flash flooding over places like Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, to the east of Bakersfield up into central Nevada, and a broad slight risk with that potentially heavy rainfall moving all the way up into portions of the northern Rockies and into the eastern portions of the Pacific Northwest. And the period of greatest concern is going to be from late this afternoon out in West Coast time, overnight tonight and into early Monday morning. And this area that we're highlighting in purple here are places like eastern San Diego County, Riverside County, places like Palm Springs, much of San Bernardino County, Barstow, 29 Palms, northern Los Angeles County, Palmdale, up into the Death Valley area to the west of Las Vegas. That's where we could see the highest risk of that life-threatening flash flooding. And even to make it even more dangerous is the heaviest rainfall and flooding potential is going to largely occur overnight tonight. So you want to be in your safe place, certainly no later than this afternoon. Please try to not be out and about tonight. It's very dangerous to be out in flooded conditions at night. You can't see if water covers a roadway. You can't see if there's a bridge or a road that's been washed out. I mean, we could see significant impacts even on major highways like Interstate 10, Interstate 8, Interstate 40. Major roads, and then any of the roads that go into the Southern California mountains and out into the deserts. Rainfall totals we're looking at are 3 to 6 inches, widespread totals with isolated amounts as high as 10 inches, especially here in the mountains of Southern California. Some of that rainfall is going to fall very quickly, and some of these rainfall totals for some of these places are the amount of rainfall they might typically get in an entire year that's going to fall in just a matter of hours. There have been some targeted evacuation orders given in portions of Southern California. Please follow those, and please have your emergency kit ready, so if you're asked to leave your house in the event of rising water, you have what you need to take with you: food, medicine, water, and you know where you're going to go and how you're going to get there in the next 24 to 36 hours. Los Angeles County, San Diego County, Orange County, western portions of Riverside, San Bernardino counties, most concerned about the gustiest, strongest winds at higher elevation, where we certainly could see some damaging winds. And then we have a broader risk of strong gusty winds. And these areas shown in this sort of dark orange here are under high wind warnings, and especially, again, 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, especially in higher elevations, could result in some difficult driving, some damage, power outages, and things like that as well.
Over the past few days, the city family has been working around the clock to prepare for the storm, and we are just beginning to see it hit Los Angeles. Our message today is clear: stay safe, stay home, and stay informed. This is an unprecedented weather event, but Los Angeles has deep experience responding to crisis. Our primary mission, of course, is to protect the life and property of Angelenos. Second, we need to keep our city workers safe. Third, we must ensure that city services are operating as best as possible given the circumstances. Last night, Chief Crowley, who is the incident commander, activated the Emergency Operations Center to level 2. It was very important that we started in-person preparation last night so that this morning we were already in action. Last night, I also signed a declaration of local emergency to immediately activate the Emergency Operations Organization and waive any regulation that may inhibit the saving of lives here in Los Angeles. Avoid unnecessary travel. If you do not need to be on the road, please don't get in your car. Make sure your emergency kit and essential devices are on hand, and ensure that all of your devices are charged. In the event of life-threatening emergency, Angelenos should call 911. For impacts like roadway flooding, tree limbs blocking roads, or mudslides, Angelenos should request service online or by calling 311.
Fortunately, the storm has weakened to a Category 1 hurricane with a maximum winds of at least 80 miles per hour. It is expected to downgrade further and make landfall as a tropical storm. The total of 1.5 to 3 inches of rain is forecasted for the Los Angeles area. The expected wind speeds are to be moderate at 20 to 30 miles an hour. The Antelope Valley and San Gabriel Mountain areas outside of the city of Los Angeles are expected to see the largest impacts with 3 to 7 inches of rain. Santa Ana-like conditions with northeasterly winds, particularly in the mountain areas, are likely. Santa Ana corridors will have higher chance of seeing sustained winds up to 40 miles an hour with gusts up to 50 miles an hour in the mountain areas. Now, this storm is expected to have significant impacts within the area, which will include flash flooding, coastal flooding, as well as erosion, dangerous rip currents, and high seas, damage to porches, awnings, carports, sheds, and unanchored mobile homes, damage to large trees, damage to fencing and roadway signs. Roads may become impassable from debris.